we go. You do the same thing?
I've done. I'm recording. Hey, how you going, guys? Look, thanks for tuning into Reputational New Podcast. I'm actually here today well, with a guy called Walt Bayliss, who how do I say this? He basically is the boss of Go High Level in Australia. Hi, Walt. How you going, mate?
G'day, mate. Thanks. That's a that's a nice way to bring me in.
It, I don't know how else to say it, mate. You know what I mean? When people you were talking because you interviewed me last week and I
Yeah,
told everybody about it and everybody's like, "What? You know the boss of High Level Australia?" I'm like, yeah, mate.
we're good mates.
Yeah, mate.
We're good
Mate.
mates.
My head just keeps. I even telling people in Queensland, mate, it's coming to be connected when I'm up there in August. They're all like,
Absolutely.
really? How
Happily.
did you get him to do
Happily.
that?
Happily.
So
Yeah.
look,
So
mate.
well, it's new, but I'm not SVR. I'm not Sean or Robin, but yeah, I'm heading up the Australia Growth Channel. So you
Well,
are
you
mates
don't
with
speak fast enough for Sean. Sean always speeds
right.
up his
I need to
videos.
speed that
Sean,
up. I'll work on it. I'll work on it. I'll get the rate up.
so I got to admit, I look for the Sean coming at your videos. I absolutely love them. So they're
Yeah.
fantastic. So look, I want to go back. All
Yeah.
right. So recently you've become the well, effective. What's your official title, Walt?
Officially, it's long to say, mate. It'll never fit on a business card, but I'm the Senior Director of Revenue and Growth for High Level in Australia.
All right. So you're the salesman.
Yeah.
But it
Everything that
sounds,
comes
mate.
with a number comes under my jurisdiction. That's right.
Yeah, no, that's fair enough, mate. But look, that's not where I know you from. I know you from White Label Suite.
Yeah.
But talk to. I mean, look, you've sort of got the dream job. Anybody that's in that GHL space looks at that and goes,
Mm.
"Oh, shit, I'd love to do that." You know, how
Yeah.
good is
Yeah.
that?
Absolutely.
But you know, let's go back from even before White Label Suite. How did you get into this IT SaaS space?
So thanks, mate. I've been in the IT SaaS space for 20 odd years. My very first release as an entrepreneur, as a business owner, I had an agency. I was doing a lot of video SEO back when that was a big thing. So I went from working a job. I was working for a software company as a salesman, and found a couple of cool things that I could do. And I went out on my own. And one of the first things I ever got paid for was helping local companies rank using video. And as part of that, I was building a lot of WordPress sites. And my very first software release of my own was in the WordPress space, where I took something that was working well. I got hold of a programmer that popped his head up and I said, "Hey, this is good. Can you make it better?" And I created a couple of little WordPress gigs, and that expanded. We had great success with WordPress, but I wanted to get off that platform. It was too hard to manage, and I ended up building my first SaaS was a webinar platform.
Okay.
We built before Zoom was a thing, before Zoom ever even existed. I as all entrepreneurs do, mate, I didn't want to pay money to go to webinar. At the time, I was like, I'm not paying $200. I'd rather spend 200,000 and build my own, which is what I did. So I ended up building my own and got into webinar space. And along that way, about 5, 6, 7 years ago, something like that, I had a breakfast. I had multiple SaaS companies at this time. We had webinar platforms and all kinds of different things. And lead generation system was one of my tools. And I was having a breakfast with a guy named Johan Nagira, who flew up here to the Gold Coast and had breakfast with me. And he said, "So what are you doing, mate?" You know, and I laid all of this. I'm doing all of these crazy. I'm wearing 17,000 hats. You know, and Johan's an amazing business strategist. And he said, "All right, so put all that aside. You should be doing this. This is how you should be doing this." And I said over a period of a couple of days, I said, "Gosh, mate, you're right. But I'm so tired. I'm so burned out. I'm so frantic. I can't do that. Do you want to do it with me?" And so Johan said, "What do you mean? Like partners?" And I said, "Yeah, let's go. Like I need help. I'm wearing too many hats. I'm trying to do too many things." And so we partnered up, yeah, 5, 6 years ago, and created an incredible brand and company. Brought everything together under one label called White Label Suite, focused on one element, one tool that we built. And as part of that, we landed in high level. Like we had our first agency clients as high level clients when we were branded as Comet Suite. And yeah, we
That's
just
where
grew
I
from there.
remember it from. Comet Suite originally.
That's right. Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly. That was on our rebilling and credit card statement for a long time. Comet Suite
yeah.
was our high level agency. White Label Suite was then how we morphed that into the services.
Right, right. So, yeah. Look, as I said before we started the interview, it feels strange to actually talk to you without Johan being in the room. There is a
Yeah, right.
standing joke in the
He was
industry.
always right there. And he's still right there.
Yeah,
We're best mates.
there was
We're
the
good
twins.
friends.
You guys were twins. It's like when you turned up at the Australian Go High Level Mastermind, the
Yeah.
online one, to announce that you'd taken on this role with GHL. Johan was there. It
Yeah,
was.
right. Absolutely.
He's like, see Walt come in the room. Where's Johan? But today he wasn't there. You were in there on your own, mate. I think he's off doing something else. So here's my question. So I know you sold White Label Suite. You sold it to Dakota.
Yeah.
And he's loving it. That was a
Yeah. He's
big
taking it
thing.
forward.
When you sold that, what was the plan?
Yeah. Um, the plan at that point, so the sale was if you've been a business owner, you've been an entrepreneur, sometimes you're going through that roller coaster of entrepreneurialism. It's always feast or famine. Are we going to eat this month, or is it going to be a tough one? So we've always had that roller coaster. And um, many, many times my wife would say to me over the years, of course, over decades, my wife would say to me, wouldn't it be better if you were an employee? I say, yes, honey, but when we sell the company, we get the big payout and all that kind of stuff. And as an employee, you don't have that carrot. So when we sold, it's the fifth exit that I've ever done, Jay. So
Yeah,
I've exited five companies over my time, which I'm really proud of. Um, and so when Dakota came and talking to Johan and I about taking over White Label Suite, for us it was opportunity. It was
yeah,
great. This has been something that we've been able to create. Dakota already came equipped with exactly what White Label Suite needed, which
mm,
was 150 staff at the back ready to support the end users because that's Dakota's specialty with
yeah,
agency support for high level. And so when he came in, we looked at where we had taken White Label Suite to, and we thought, you know what, this is great opportunity for us to exit and great opportunity for the White Label Suite clients to get the next level up in terms of service and boost. So it was a great fit. What was the plan? We looked at AI, and we said, you know what, this whatever we do next in inverted commas is going to be 100% AI driven. And during the few months between exiting and working with high level,
you
we did some
changed the
really
name of it for a brief period before it got sold, didn't you?
We did, yeah, yeah, which was a
Yeah,
great experiment, actually. That was an interesting result. But yeah, so when we sold, the plan was to look at something in the AI space. And my wife said to me, "Well, you're too young to retire. You've had this exit from
that's
the
a
software
that's a
company."
nice way of saying I want more money, Walt.
No, that's a nice way of saying you're bloody annoying me sitting home and sitting on the back deck. Go out and do something with your life. So
Yeah.
it was great to have that exit. But when she said to me, "You're too young to retire. What are you going to do next?" I said, "You know what I really want, honey? What I really, really want to do is I really want to work with high level because the momentum of the company, the culture of the company, the speed of implementation, the absolute global rollout that they're on. I want to be a part of that." And she said, "Well, why don't you call them?" And I did. I
Well,
called them
that
up
was
and
going to
said,
be my next question. How did this opportunity turn up? What was the phone call? Was it, hey, Sean, mate, gives a job?
"Yeah." It was to Robin actually, but it was
Close enough.
it was very much like that. I mean, we being Johan and I, we've known Sean, Varun, and Robin. We've known Wesley. We've known Austin. We've known all of the leadership there at high level for a long time, and we've had amazing interactions with them over the times of sponsoring events and being forefront of high level. We ran some of our own biggest events on high level as a collaborative, as you know. So we've known them really well, and so yeah, it was a call through to Robin, and it was a call through to Wesley, and hey boys, what are you doing about Australia? And they said, "What do you mean?" And I said, "Well, what are you doing? Are you taking this place seriously, or are we just kind of like little brother that happened to pop up?" And the feedback I got was, "No, no, we're actually." Australia, UK, and Canada are a real focal point for us. We are looking to actively invest into the the environment of Australia. And my question was simple. Well, do you want a hand? Do you want a hand with that? Because I've grown companies internationally. My first software company picked me up, put me in London, and told me to open the office over in London. I've expanded companies internationally before. I've built white label companies up to thousands of users. I've done content to the point of being one of the top podcasts in the world. I've done some pretty cool stuff. Do you want a hand with that skill set, taking it into my love of high level, which is absolute, and rolling that out through Australia? Do you want a hand? And thankfully, thankfully, they said, yeah, that sounds great. Come on
Yeah.
board. And so away we go.
Yeah, because I look at I've sat there for a while because I think you announced it about a month ago, and I left you
Hmm.
alone for a couple of weeks. I thought let me settle in before I reach out. But you know, I've always sat there. There's two questions I've had about this journey, and I'm gonna. Oh, I've got the balloons going. You got to love Zoom, don't you?
Love it. Love it.
I've got two questions about your journey, and that first one was how did the conversation happen with
Mm.
GHL, and the other one was. How did the conversation start with Dakota? Were you planning on putting it on the market, or did he reach out and you just went, "I'll take that money"?
Yeah, a little bit of both, really. So we were when we came to Level Up last year in Dallas. It was amazing. We were, as always, it's the fifth time that we've been there, and again, it's just like coming home, going into
Yeah,
Level Up. It's just so everybody's there, and we had a couple of conversations with some a couple of different parties about what we were doing and where we were going and all that kind of stuff. And Johan and I were just chatting through. This seems like a ripe market, a time that the opportunity is right for us to entertain this. And we started some conversations in December, but never really kind of put our stake in the ground. And then come January, I think it was, Dakota popped back up and said, "Hey, I'm serious about this." And we said, "Really? Okay, well, then we should get serious too." And so it was a little bit of both. It was a little bit of conversation in
okay,
terms of future and direction and investments and asset building and all that kind of stuff, which we kind of just hovered around. And then Dakota said, "Look, I'm actually serious about this. This is something that I'm very keen on chatting to you about." And we said, "Well, then let's get serious and let's chat it through."
yeah. Well, I think it's an absolutely amazing story, and I don't personally, I don't think you could have sold White Label Suite to anybody better.
Yeah, thank you.
I
Yeah,
have
I think
so
Dakota's
much
amazing.
time for that guy and Christina and his entire team. So he
Yeah,
actually does the support for Boss.
yeah.
Um, and I also help run somebody else's agency, and I've put them on. And the CEO's just gone, "Oh my God, why didn't we know about this in the first place?"
Yeah,
I'm going,
nice
"Hey,
and
not a
easy.
problem. You keep paying me because he keeps paying me the commission as well. You've got to make your
Lovely.
money
Awesome.
somewhere, right?"
Yeah,
So
yeah,
so
definitely.
my next question is, and it's more high level based.
Yeah.
I know that. We've got Dallas coming up, and when Dallas comes up, mate, the releases that come out are phenomenal.
Yeah.
Are there any little snippets you can let me know about?
Look, I think to be honest, the releases come so thick and fast from the dev team,
Mm,
and Sean gets them before any of us. So
right.
his coming at you videos are the first time that a lot of us are seeing the releases in the wild.
Yeah.
So of course, Chase and Emma doing the release radar every week. They're kind of curating what's come through and what's hit the market, but there's a city, there's a village, there's an entire world in the dev team that are iterating, testing, beta releases, alpha releases. There's all that kind of stuff, and that pipeline is so huge, Jay. There's so much there
Yeah.
that's going through. A lot of the time when Sean gets that information, it's come straight hot off the press,
Straight off the dev
straight
team.
into
Yeah.
Sean's hands, and he's the first one to know about it. And you can see on the video, he's reading the notes from
He's
the
reading the notes from the airport. This has just
exact.
come through. He gets there. But hey, I'll tell you what, I get a headache around the time we have Dallas. I
Yeah,
get a headache because you're going into labs and you're going, "Oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God."
incredible, incredible,
Turn it on,
incredible.
turn it on, turn it on. I've got to email all the clients. Turn it on in labs because I'm
Turn
not
it
going to
on, turn
spend
it
all
on,
day
turn it
doing
on.
it. Turn it on, turn it on, turn it on. So I think it's absolute gold. I want to give a shout out to High Level. I mean,
Yeah.
for everything that they do and how they make it so people like myself can supply a product that really, really helps business. But
Mm,
I had a bit of a play with something over the last few days. Now
tell
you
me.
know me, I'm always playing with things, I'm always building things.
What
My,
you suffer from? What does that button do itis?
Oh, all the time, all the time. So, as an example, we've completely restructured the whole of Be Connected World, and I first of all I did a 2 week ghost protocol, which means I'm not going to be here for 2 weeks. That seemed to work. Everything was going fine, and then I did 4 weeks, and that was the month of June. I'm not supposed to be involved in the business whatsoever, and the team knew every single day I was working because I kept breaking shit.
Yeah,
Uh, just try, yeah. Whoa, okay, stop using this form, guys. I need to fix it. I will be playing with things. But I started playing, and we're only talking beginning of this week with the super agents.
oh my
Now,
goodness. Oh my goodness.
I mean, like I said, I've been in love with high level for a long time. But for probably the last 5 to 6 months, I was using Ask AI
Hmm.
to do all my social media planning because as a
Yeah.
business owner, you've got to be doing it. You've got to be on there. You know, you get people going, "Oh, you can't put AI slop." The stuff that comes out of GHL is pretty good, but you've
Mm,
got to have something up instead of nothing. So
yeah.
we ended up to a point we were putting probably across our 5 social platforms, we'd have 1,000 to 1,200 posts across the platforms going up, and we were doing it all through Ask AI. So I'd just go in on
Amazing.
the first day of the month and go, right, 30 social media posts, take it off this website, follow this brand board, do all the typing. Then okay, that's done. Move on to I'd have multiple tabs open. I'd do another one,
Yeah.
do it on this website, blah blah blah. And that was great. That cut me down from doing probably 2 hours of social media work a day to doing about 4 hours a month. And I
Yeah.
loved it. I thought it was great. And then I found Super Agent. And now the whole thing's scheduled. I don't even do my own social media anymore.
It's incredible.
I've even built a super agent in there. I'm doing a presentation next month in Jared's thing about building automations outside of Go High Level, but bringing Go High Level into it. And it's a case of I don't open my inbox. I don't even open my own CRM. I don't have to because I've
Mm,
automated everything into one Slack channel, which
mm,
Claude reads and gives me a snapshot of everything that's gone on.
amazing.
And what I found is that look, they haven't got the connector for the super agent yet to Slack,
Mm.
but there's a workaround.
Tell me.
It will send it to an email. So
Hmm.
I've got it set that at 3 o'clock every morning, the super agent goes through everything in my sub account. I want to know how many new contacts, how many SMSs, what sentiment have we got, how many email opens have we got, how many forms of blah, 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 blah. And you can add it to a contact note. And so we did
Mm.
that, and we built a workflow that whenever a contact note is added to a contact, it goes directly into Slack. So
Wow.
this all goes on in the background, and then when I get out of bed and turn on Claude in the morning, because unfortunately you've got to have Claude turned on for it to work, it then goes through that entire Slack channel and tells me absolutely everything. So anybody out there, guys, play with those super agents because
That's
I
incredible.
have a blog created every day. I don't even go in. It's got my content and it just goes and does it.
Mm.
I have 2 websites that have social media posting going across. And yeah, it gives me a snapshot at 3 o'clock every morning and it's all scheduled. I know you can schedule in Ask AI,
Yeah.
but you've still got to be there and press the button to make it work.
Mm.
Whereas with the super agents, oh my God,
It's
massive shout
insane.
out to the dev team on that one.
Yeah, I'll pass it on. I think what we're seeing, and we've heard this a few times across different channels, Jay, is that the the past where we used to be concerned about the usability of a software program, as in, oh my goodness, do you remember when you started with high level, the overwhelm, and if you
I
went
shit
into the
myself. I'm like, what
right,
the hell?
it took me months. It took me months just to get my head around how it all works and all that kind of stuff. Now, especially as the super agents come through, your knowledge, your shortcut to the knowledge is
Mm,
instant. You don't need
You
to
don't need to know
know
how to use it anymore.
how to use it. You don't need to know how to build a workflow. You don't need to know how to create your social media. All you need to know is tell that little chap over there to do the thing that I want it to do,
Yeah.
and it's done. And
And
that
the
it's
the
incredible.
Chrome AI, the Chrome Ask AI extension as well. Ah,
Yeah.
I
Mm.
I actually deleted the Claude extension.
Yeah, right. Wow.
Get rid of the Claude one. I'm just going to use the Ask AI one because it just does
Perfect.
everything that I open up Facebook and tell me how many friends I've. It did it.
Yeah. Yeah.
It did it. So, oh, that's absolutely fantastic. I want to touch on something you mentioned earlier on.
Yeah.
WordPress. You're
Mm,
building WordPress sites.
mm,
All right.
mm.
Now, the personal opinion, you don't have to answer this question, right?
Sure. Yeah.
But is WordPress pretty much obsolete now?
Well, no, I mean, it still powers a third of the world's websites, right? I mean,
Yeah, but I'm talking about new ones. People are on there because they don't know any different.
yeah, I think, look, every dog has its day, right?
Yeah,
I think WordPress for all of us, going back, 15, 20 years before any of the platform builders and page builders and that kind of stuff really started to pop their heads up, WordPress gave the everyman the opportunity to create a website for the first time ever and
yeah,
create a drag and drop website for the first time ever. And the ecosystem where we had millions of plugins and incredible themes, and you could, by the very nature of that ecosystem, you could create something amazing. Um, is WordPress finished? No, I think it's just an ecosystem that moved with a massive amount of momentum. And the question then is WordPress dead? No, because there's so many people still bedded in on that
mm.
they don't need to go and sign up with high level. They've
I,
everything's
I
working for
think the
them. But
future is very limited though now. I'll use the perfect example, right? And GHL, you're responsible for this, right?
yeah,
GHL took all of this stuff and put it into one browser,
yeah,
right? And that's what people want. That's what people wanted. It was the selling point of GHL.
yeah,
Everything's in one spot, right?
yeah, yeah,
WordPress is still, you need a plugin, you need this, you still need to have all these extra things. Now, one of the things, and I think this will be a massive, massive win for GHL, and it only came out a few days ago, and that's on the website builder. I think you know where I'm going to go on the website builder and the funnels. You can now do agentic optimization, and it
yeah,
builds the schema for you.
which is
Now
insane.
that is something that it's another plugin you're going to have to go and put in on top of your Divi Builder and your SEO and was it Yoast and all
Yeah,
these
Yoast was the
plugins you've
biggest
got to
one.
put in there, right?
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
and now there's going to have to be another one that's because we all know. I was talking to Sarah Cordner,
mm,
probably about 4 or 5 months ago, and something like 40% of all web searches are voice activated.
wow,
Hey
wow,
Google,
so
tell me
quickly.
this. Hey Google, tell me that. Even
Mm,
Chat GPT. So Google itself, SEO's not as important as it used to be because more people are starting to use search engines to do it. So when I saw that come through, I saw it straight away. I went, "Oh, screenshot, put it up." I'll put it up on lots of pages. You know me, I like to tell people what I've found. I'm just one of these people. Even people like Michael Dooley, right? Michael Dooley
yeah.
knows his shit. He was like, "Oh my god, that's hot. When did that come in?" If he didn't know about it, I'm proud. I
Right,
found
you got
something.
there first. You got there before Michael. That's
I got there
amazing.
before Michael Dooley, right? It's
Yeah.
like, oh my god, there you go.
He reminds me
But
of one of those ice boats that cuts through the ice. Like he's the first one making the path, so you beat
he
him
is, he
in
is.
this case.
There's a couple of people we go to. We go to Michael Dooley and we go to Leon.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, these
yeah,
these guys,
absolutely.
I don't know how these guys make money because all they do is research. They're just constantly looking at us. So I found something that I don't think Michael Dooley knew. He went, "Oh my god, that's hot."
Yeah.
But I think things like that and the tweaks and just the speed that high level is moving.
Mm,
I don't think. Yes, you're going to have the people that are already on WordPress. They're not going to move. I've got clients that we've had to enable WordPress and bring it across. But I think there's going to be less and less people doing it because now I can go into GHL, I could build one that's just as good, that has the agentic optimization button in there that I don't even have to work out a schema, it's going to do it for me.
Yeah, has
And
the
that was always
integrated
the biggest problem.
forms.
You build you build a website. Well, what do I put for S? How do I SEO it? How do I do?
Yep,
GHL takes care of it all. It's the
just
same with
click the
the
button.
blog writer. You used to have our blog writer. He SEO optimizes it, so you don't
It's
have to
crazy,
know
isn't it?
this sort of stuff anymore. So
And
anyway,
it makes
look,
it so great for agency owners to be able to take that and serve their clients with those features and be able to offer that in, hey, John, the platform that I've built on has just released this. This is how it works. This is how it's going to change your business.
mm,
And it helps those small businesses to improve their results and get that out. And of course, they're thankful to the agencies for bringing that to them.
yeah, mate, it's been fantastic talking to you. It's been fantastic
You
seeing
too,
you
bud.
again.
You too. I'm so thrilled that we get to hang out a little bit more. It's
Yeah, well, and what are we on the 29th of July? So in 16 days, I'll be on the Gold Coast. I'll be meeting you at the Royal Points.
amazing. Looking
So
forward to it and chatting to
yeah,
everybody there. I think
that'll be.
for your team and for your listeners and for anybody that's here as well, one of the most surprising things for me, and I just want to leave you guys with this, is that you've spoken about my journey and how did the call go, and it was a chat to Robin and all that kind of stuff. That was great. But when I got into the company, Jay, this is what I want to leave everybody here in Australia with. When I got in there, they took the lid off what they've been working on in Australia for the last 3 months before I ever made that call. High level is serious about Australia. They've invested in infrastructure, in development, in research, in data for months and months and months and months before I came on board.
Mm.
My role is just simply taking all of that work and now implementing it. But for the Aussies and the Kiwis, and for the people down under, down here with us,
We don't care about the Kiwis, mate.
well, they do, but it's interesting.
The
We'll
Kiwis care
we'll
about the
let
Kiwis.
we'll let that one go. But for everybody that's here with us, you can actually feel so safe and secure that high level are pouring everything they've got into this expansion and they're taking us seriously. And I'm just so thrilled to be able to be the one that wears the brand and brings it forward.
Yeah, look, I think a lot of people when you came and told everybody you got the role. I think a lot of people's shoulders went, oh, they relaxed. Our shoulders dropped, but in a good way. They relaxed because we had Saspreneur
Yeah.
and everyone was like, oh my God, high level are looking at us. And then there was nothing.
Yeah.
And a lot of people are like, well, what's going on?
Where did it go?
I know we're a small market. We are 3% of what's in the USA. We're only 30% of what's in the UK. But I think you've probably got a bigger take-up rate in Australia per capita than in a lot of countries out there. And so, when it was announced you got the role, there were two key things that stuck in my mind. Number one, shit, they are serious. That's good. And number two, I don't think they could have got anybody better for the job.
No, mate, thank you. I appreciate that. It's that's really kind of you to say it. But for me, the infrastructure and the investment that they've already made is really for the Aussies and anybody else down here. It really makes us feel proud that we have been listened to. The data residency. So one of the biggest things is making sure that the data residency is taken seriously. There's agencies that can't bring on clients in the
Mm.
finance space and in the government space until the
Finance,
data
health, government.
doesn't leave. There it is, exactly. That is on path and already
Yes.
underway, and will be live. Hope that if the timeline stays aligned, this is your scoop. That will be live in Australia by Level Up.
Nice. Nice. Because I've got lawyers, I've got accountants, I've got mortgage brokers that are still having to jump
Yep.
between two CRMs, right? So this is for your marketing, that's your data storage. If they
Yes.
can keep it all in one. And look, I know a lot of people in the space that are out there trying to build their own CRMs. You just jump on Facebook, you see all these guys building their own Australia. I think, why are you bothering? And I've spoken to a few of them, and a few of them are pretty good mates. And I've gone, why are you even trying to take on high level? And they go, because my clients want their data in Australia. Ah.
Go back to him, mate. Tell him to start
Yeah,
their
so
cattle out.
typical fashion. GHL goes, we'll build it.
Done. Yep.
We'll
And
build it.
and
All right.
it's well and truly underway. So we can't wait to hang
Yeah,
out there.
that is fantastic news, and I think that opens us up as high level agencies to at least to get another 10-20% of people
Let's go.
across the line. Walt Bayliss, you are an absolute legend, sir. It's been a pleasure talking to you,
Great to see you, mate.
and thank you for coming on. And I look forward to seeing you on the Gold Coast.
Looking forward to it. Thanks, Jay.
Thanks,
Appreciate you,
mate.
man.